Previously on the Hittite Legendary Challenge. We crushed the Kashkin invaders and were slowly turning Hattusha into the center of the ancient world. Surprisingly, we didn't just roll over and die, not very Hittite of us, but what's gonna happen now? It's time for our second favorite thing about the Hittites. Yep, you guessed it correctly, Hittite on Hittite violence, so let's not keep them waiting, we kinda got axes with their names on them. I just realized I said the second favorite thing about the Hittites, so what is actually your favorite thing about them, man? It's probably the pointy shoes, but regardless, write it in the comments. Anyway, what do we know about Sapinuwa, the faction we're fighting now? So, it was an important city in the middle and late Middle Kingdom period of the Hittites. It was a big center of the worship of Tarhuna, the god of weather, and also there was a minor storm god that was worshipped there. It was important as a fortified town as well, and we have a lot of archaeological findings there, and look at the bottom of the screen for some interesting information, but here's the most interesting part. It has signs of destruction by fire, so the most likely theory is that the Kashkians burned it down to the ground, but considering we kicked their ass in the last battle, yeah, I think we're gonna be the ones doing the burning here. Alternate history is beautiful when you're the one writing it. So we got this little hill here covering our flank. We don't have to worry about the enemy at all. We're just gonna charge here. We are gonna abuse our chariots, and Shupiluluma is just gonna assert his dominance over the rest of the lands of the Hatti. I mean, listen, I'm a good great king. I try to treat my subjects pretty decently, but if you're rebelling or just not being under my dominion, you got another thing coming, and that another thing is gonna be an axe to the head, apparently. Shupiluluma charging with his bodyguards into the Hittite swordsman. Destruction will follow, and axes are just so insanely good in this game. You are never gonna make a mistake by using axes, essentially. Armor pen is overvalued, armor is easy to come by, so, it is what it is. Speaking of armor pen, we're gonna get the Kashkian tribesmen in here for, a decisive charge. And these guys are capable of crushing units that are 2 tiers above them when used correctly, even on Legendary. So that kind of needs to change. The chariots are coming in for a nice little Hattusha drift, and because of the enemy lacking them, we're just gonna have a field day here. This is perfect. Oh god, just look at them flying. Listen. We don't care that these are slingers, we don't care about cost efficiency, it is legendary, I will just take any kills that I can because it just looks cool, okay? So we're gonna get the chariots to charge in here, we're gonna use one of the chargers to herd the slingers further away, we're gonna assist with the clubmen into the Luvian swordsmen, getting these guys here, and let's look at a beautiful rear charge by the Kashkians. These guys are using bronze clubs here. This is, I'm not gonna say it's completely historical, but giving such elaborate ornate clubs to the enemies of the Hittites, yeah, we're just not gonna comment on that, but there's gonna be a historical accuracy video dropping soon. Meanwhile, let's enjoy our enemies dropping to the floor because these guys are just slaughter machines. With a blood pack, two-handed units are just gonna look actually crazy in combat. So let's actually go back to microing, and enough about zooming in. Let's get the chariots in here. The slingers are gonna get wiped. That's really good for us. Late game, lacking ranged units can bite you in the ass, and we essentially do not have a single ranged unit here. We're just playing the good old Hittite Zerg, and let me be honest, we just love a good micro-intensive rush army. That's not really important here, we managed to break the flank, we're just gonna reposition to get a nice charge in, and we're also using the Kashkians for another decisive charge again. Just look at this. I know the Hittite are my kinsmen here, but sorry dudes, I just have the better mercenaries. They're apparently gonna be my elite troops, even though they're basic. So far, the value is not high, honestly, but we don't really care about that. We just care to destroy Sapinuwa here and get our territory reclaimed. It's just a massive blob, honestly. I got a perfect encirclement, and that's actually gonna be nasty. We don't have a great chariot angle, but let's try to make one up, though. When you can't really go through, you just push your head and brute force it. Ah, there we go, the shockwave. I don't care if it goes through my troops, we're just here for some slaughter, okay? Now, the annoying part about chariots, they're usually very squish here. So sometimes it doesn't matter if you get like a flawless rear charge, they're just gonna unfortunately end up taking a lot of damage, but here, it's not too bad. Like, we can live with this. Sapinuwa is fighting to the death. It's just an interesting little blob. I don't even know what to say, but it's not gonna last that long. There's gonna be a decisive chariot charge coming in. It obviously gets stuck because there's a lot of people, but do we really care about that? Of course we don't. So this is the end of the battle pretty much, and Sapinuwa is gonna be ours. This was just a slaughter, and Shopililuma agrees. It was pretty much a joke for him. That was... yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Kashkian tribesmen are just disgustingly broken. Clubs in general. Yeah, so, you know what? Useless warriors, valuable prisoners. Let's go, give me that food. We love to be productive, right? So let's get some of that gold. I mean, can you really say no? Uncle? You wanna trade? Yeah, no, fuck off, buddy. Yeah. Don't quote me on this, but I think we might have overstayed our welcome at Nerik, so... yeah. Good thing is Mama didn't raise no bitch, so we're just gonna fight them, you know, like real Hittites. Let's go. So we're fighting for the control of Nerik, which was an important city to the Hittites, and who would have thought? It was the center of a minor storm god cult, the son of the goddess Hanahana, which was considered to be the goddess of earth and fertility, and it was a great festival location, but, you know? Every year, the Hittites didn't really need a reason to party, but it is what it is. We can't really complain about that. So the enemy completely outnumbers us here, but we have something they don't. Completely broken Kashkian Levy Clubmen. And for some reason their general decides to go solo here, into the forest, and you know what? I don't think the Kashkians are gonna complain. Historically, this city was burned by the Kashkians, recorded twice. Once before the collapse. It was rebuilt, and then the Kashkians obliterated it during the collapse, and look what we're using. I guess we're the Kashkians in this timeline, so... history is cruel. Alternate history is even crueler. Okay, so it's been enough joking around. It's time to actually start microing and bringing the chariots in for like a decisive rear charge and stuff. The left flank, we're holding off their main general here. That's good. If we take him out quick, it's gonna be game over. On the other side, Shupululuma is grinding into a ton of swords. There is just no way I can go through all these swords and spears unless I get more axemen, or the clubmen manage to quickly enough assist me here, but they're just smashing the general. Look, Sunaili is almost dead. I'm gonna disengage one of the club units and get them here. My Hittite chargers are gonna go from the rear while my chariots try to clean up the slingers. Let's get an awesome charge. Wow, that was not even a terrible attempt at a pun. These guys don't have the best armor penetration, but they're still capable of doing decent charge damage. And if you're wondering why they're not using any shields besides gameplay purpose, there's a funny story behind that. So in the Battle of Kadesh, one of the artistic depictions on the reliefs shows the Hittite infantry without shields. Now, most scholars are considering this just basically an Egyptian interpretation, because we can have it clearly attested that for the most part Hittites use shields, and they also use chariots, which is gonna demolish the slingers here. Now, we don't care about cost efficiency, even though it's legendary. We care about fun, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the chariots to just, you know, have the time of their lives. And meanwhile, the Kashkians are actually gonna have an even better time slaughtering Hittites, because, you know, that was kind of their best hobby, pastime occupation, and full-time occupation, because we know the Kashkians are one of the biggest enemies the Hittites have ever faced. Alright, so we can actually safely disengage now. We got the charge bonus off. We're gonna get the chariots here. Perfect. Let's see if we can hurt them with the clubmen. That's fantastic. The general got slaughtered here. That means we can actually start overlapping here. Perfect. On the left flank, yeah, the chargers really doing the work of Tarhuna. But we're just gonna, you know, disengage, reapply the same strat again. We're not gonna waste the clubmen on attacking dirt cheap slingers. We're gonna do them, you know, into the Hittites. Once again, Kashkian favorite pastime. Clubbing. Yeah, okay, that was a terrible pun. I'm just not gonna comment on that. Once again, for the millionth time, two-handed units are gonna be so disgusting with this something blood pack, but you know, let's hope we're alive by the time this game actually gets new content. This is just gonna be a massive slaughter. Shupiluluma is close to dying, and that's my fault for memeing too much up close because, you know, something YouTube, but can you really blame me? It's still enjoyable to watch it up close. Chariots, meanwhile, just gonna go demolish the slingers. Favorite pastime here, once again. Actually, now we're gonna start ramping it up. We're gonna disengage the clubmen here so they can cycle charge. Hopefully Shupiluluma doesn't die. Yo, I dare you to say his name 3 times fast and record it. Like, I dare you to actually do that. Okay, we're disengaging them. That's perfect. We're gonna go for another charge here. The slingers are broken. We don't care about them. We're just gonna go back into the infantry. These guys are gonna disengage from the slingers. Spearmen are coming to assist. Perfect. We're getting a mass rout on the flank. Kashkia moment? Kashkia moment. But look at them smash, though. Shupiluluma routed? He's not dead, but the Great King's stomach wasn't so great, apparently. Listen, as long as he doesn't die, or gets wounded or whatever, I'm happy with the results. Okay, getting the chargers in for another one here. This is perfect. There's just something satisfying about shock infantry, honestly. It's effective, it's fun, and in the case of Hittite tribesmen, it's actually not broken. The club units are broken. Charger spears are honestly, for the most part, kind of underwhelming in the game. But, you know, it is what it is. Okay, enough memeing, let's go to slaughter. Their left flank has been completely decimated. It's just the right that's just a slaughter here. Our axemen, luckily, are so good. They don't really care about anything, so they just managed to wipe the floor with the Hittite general, but our swordsmen are... Yeah, let's put it this way, swordsmen in this game are pretty underwhelming for most of their units, just because of the way weapon damage is calculated and stuff. Into high armor units, they're pretty bad, and guess what? Anatolia has a lot of high armored units. The chariots are just having a field day, though. They don't really care about maths or whatever, they just want to smash, and I can respect that, you know, as somebody who loves doing the same. So Helerizi is gonna die here? Yo, wait, am I really gonna... Helerizi. This is like peak Gen Z Hittite naming here. Holy. We can't disengage the Kashkians now, though. They're stuck into a pretty brutal melee. It would be... probably like, I don't know, most of the unit would get wiped out, so we don't have a formation order either to disengage them. Let's get the chariots out of the way. The Sunaili guy is here, he's wavering. Okay, that's perfect for us. We killed their main general. Okay, apparently assassinating works wonders even on Legendary. A bunch of their units are starting to lose their morale, that's great. Especially get the guys over there. Yeah, armored Anatolian spearmen on Legendary will tank anything that doesn't have armor penetration. Once they do, though, it's kind of a different story. And you can just see the mass rout is probably gonna kick in soon. Too bad my units are too slow to actually come in for a rear charge here for the extra leadership penalty, but, you know, we'll make it work one way or another. Okay, the chariot's decimated here. The Hittite tribesmen are coming in for the final blow. And I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the death of Nerik. You know what? Free real estate? Let's go. Yeah, apparently war is pretty brutal business, and that axe to the head must have hurt. Yeah, this was just purely disgusting. Look at the damage value of the Kashkians, let alone the chariots and everything. Just truly brutal. But, you know what? This means Nerik is gonna be ours. But the war for the eastern and northern part of Anatolia is not even close to over. This is just the beginning. There are so many more that oppose our rightful rule as the Great King. And there might be some invaders just around the corner, but you know what? We'll see that when we get there. And until the next time...